Is he a deserter? Sergeant Bowe Bergdahl, released by the Taliban last spring. This March, he was charged with desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. The latter charge carries a penalty of life in prison. Our Corey Smith on post at Fort Sam Houston with the latest from this hearing.
Sergeant Bowe Bergdahl sat in silence as the U.S. government made its case for a court-martial. Prosecutors spent much of the day having witnesses describe the harsh and dangerous conditions surrounding the 45-day search that began in the early morning hours of June 30th, 2009, when Bergdahl left his posts in eastern Afghanistan. "I was exhausted physically and mentally," said Bergdahl's platoon leader, Captain John Billings, who questioned his own leadership in the wake of Bergdahl's disappearance. "I didn't know if it was something I had done or something I failed to do." Then a second witness, Major Silvino, took the stand, detailing the attacks his beleaguered men faced as they searched nearly 2,000 square miles of rugged Afghan terrain looking for Bergdahl. "We were confused, tired, and hungry," he said, "but we were doing it because he was one of us." By mid-August 2009, the search for Bergdahl had slowed. He was released 5 years later in a prisoner swap with the Taliban. His attorneys argue that his time in captivity is punishment enough. They also detailed Bergdahl's mental history. He was discharged from the Coast Guard because of a mental illness, but was allowed to enlist in the military when the Army waived its mental health standards. Though he would eventually be diagnosed by an Army psychiatrist, that diagnosis never made it up the chain of command. His attorney, speaking briefly to the media, said his client deserves a fair and transparent hearing, once again asking that the government release Bergdahl's statement to the military shortly after his release.
Many people have made up their minds. A few people maybe haven't. I think it would be healthy for everyone to have more information rather than less information.
Now, Bergdahl's attorneys also pushed back against media reports that military service members lost their lives while searching for him. Now, the hearing will continue tomorrow, and Steve, as you said, if he is convicted of and found guilty in a court-martial of misbehavior before the enemy, he will face life in prison. We asked his attorneys if Bergdahl himself will take the stand tomorrow, but he would not comment. We're live at Fort Sam. Corey Smith, KSAT 12 News.